Good afternoon, my dear friend, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to my presentation. At this moment, I'm going to be talking about an important topic that will be of interest to the world. I'm asking the question, will IMUV overtake China as world's factory after COVID-19? You might be wondering, what is IMUV? Just wait a minute. Let me just ask this question again. Will IMUV now be the ultimate movers manufacturing for the world economy? Good question. Just wait a minute and I will answer the question. This is my profile as usual. Please take time to look at it. Look at the tigers I'm trying to describe. These are the tigers: India, Mexico, USA, and Vietnam. These are the countries I have given the acronym IMUV. They want to move and take over, the factory business from China post-COVID 2019. I describe these ones as the emerging global manufacturing tigers of the world. Take a look at this slide. It tells a lot of stories, a lot of things about the world economy. Currently, the global GDP is put at 86 trillion US dollars, out of which India accounts for 3.18%, Mexico 1.4%, USA 23.89%, and Vietnam less than 1%. The picture on the right hand side is the whole world as you see it, and clearly you will see that USA accounts for the large chunk of global economy at 23.89%, followed by China. Of course, you have Germany, France, United Kingdom, Japan, India, Brazil, Mexico, and other countries, not in any particular order. But this is a huge economy, 86 trillion US dollars. Now, this slide also tells an interesting story. The 2019 growth rate in percentage terms for India, Mexico, USA, and Vietnam ranged between 6.8% for Vietnam and less than 1% for Mexico. It doesn't really matter now. We'll try to see how these countries will be the ones that will be the emerging factory headquarters of the world. The forecast for these countries also for 2021 and 2022 is also presented in this slide. But more important is the manufacturing index, which ranged between 46.9% for Mexico and 51.8% for India. Then of course USA 50% and Vietnam 51%. These are also very interesting statistics. But wait a minute. How is China the current world factory? Why is it that most products that are manufactured today in the world are said to be made in China? What are the explanatory variables for this? One of the reasons is that the products in China, are produced under lower wage cost, and of course, China's business ecosystem of networked suppliers, component manufacturers, and distributors has evolved over time to make it a more efficient and cost-effective place to manufacture products globally. Of course, if you compare the compliance environment in China with that of the Western world and even some African countries, you find that Western manufacturers do comply, but for the Chinese manufacturers, they do not comply to the letters in respect of health, safety, employment, and environmental regulations. Chinese manufacturers generally operate under a much more permissive regulatory environment. Of course, China has also been accused of artificially depressing the value of its currency, the yuan. All of these factors put together makes the cost of production in China to be the lowest in the world. Now, the business ecosystem is a very significant one, and that is going to play out as I try to explain how and why these four tigers, the IMUV countries, are going to emerge as the factory headquarters of the world post-COVID 2019. We also need to mention the issue of taxes and duties. The export tax rebate policy in China, which was initiated in 1985, it was as a way to boost the competitiveness of its exports by abolishing double taxation on exported goods. They have also abolished the value-added tax. Additionally, consumer products from China have been exempted from any import tax. All of these put together makes China the factory headquarters of the world. But pundits have wondered if China will lose its spot as the world's factory sooner than later. Availability of cheap labor is just one of many factors that have kept the Made in China label on so many products purchased by consumers around the world. And many argue that it will take more than low-cost wage to set up a business ecosystem that can compete with China. Let me tell you, my friend, that the IMUV countries are going to move in such a way that they will create even better business environment that will make manufacturers to move away from China to these IMUV countries. I give you that assurance it is really going to happen. So, look at the cost of labor in these countries. China is 6.5, the Indian $2.0 per hour for a dollar. Then, of course, Mexico 4.82, USA very high. Then, of course, Vietnam 2.99. Of course, Mexico's cost of living is very, very low, and that's why the labor cost of 4.82 is quite sustainable. So, what are we saying? Take a look at these tigers. India, Mexico, USA, Vietnam. I call these the IMUV countries. These are the emerging global manufacturing tigers that will eventually take over from China as the factory headquarters of the world. So, I want to say that I want you to do this for me. Like my post on YouTube, share my post, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will love it. Thank you very much for listening, and please have a good day.